learning. So there's two tools that are also fairly simple that might be very interesting in terms of the work that you're learning about and that you are going into, that I wanted to share, which is what we call real-time reviews and real-time evaluations and operational reviews. So what we do, these are specific tools. They're not necessarily as simple as an after-action review. They are, however, designed to be conducted, so to speak, on the run, while an operation to a significant crisis is, for example, scaled up. Often they are deployed in the first 3 months after a crisis response starts. And therefore, the term real-time evaluations or real-time review is used. And what happens is you bring in a team of evaluators, so people who are not involved in the response. They run with the response. They talk to people who are involved with the response. They observe, and they compare and gather information against common criteria. And these criteria we use for such evaluations are now pretty much standard. And what you want to find out is in these operations, while they're running, while they're scaling up, while everybody is just running with the job, is whether what is happening, what the operation is providing is relevant for the situation, whether how this operation is working is appropriate for the needs of the people, how well it connects to anything that is already in the country. So, for example, the question is when you have people who are displaced and there is, for example, functional food markets. Can you connect to the food markets with your response, for example, by providing people with cash to buy food rather than shipping in food, and thereby often destroying these markets? Does the operation work together? We call that coherence. For example, what happened in the response in '94 in Zaire, that was very incoherent. Everybody was doing their own thing. They weren't working together. So it's really important to see whether different agencies that respond in a humanitarian situation work together, and also do they cover all the needs that are in evidence, that people all the needs that people have that are affected by crisis. We use the term coverage, and then of course, does what we do have an effect? And the advantages of deploying these systematic reviews or real-time evaluations in early stages of a crisis is that we can capture lessons while we are still setting up, while we are still scaling up, and with the expectation that, of course, we can change at this point and we can improve at this point. So if, for example, we do a real-time evaluation early on, we realized that, for example, we were providing food aid to a population that that could more easily rely on available food in the markets, and then you shift the food aid approach to giving out cash rather than food. Then that is an improvement of the response. And if you don't make that investment early on, then often these things are missed. And again, not maybe as extreme as it happened in '94 in Zaire, things can go terribly wrong. So it's therefore something that is often now used, at least in larger operations. And the United Nations, in the humanitarian coordination system, which is UN-OCHA, the agency that was set up to coordinate international assistance, now consistently in large-scale responses deploys what they call an operational peer review, where a team of UN specialists get deployed to the humanitarian response within the first 3 months of the scaling up, and they're conducting a systematic review of how the response is working, sit down with the managers of this response, share their reflections and the learning, and this would then leads to improvements in the actual response. So there's an immediate feedback system, which is really, really important. So these are systems that are, in principle, you can, of course, deploy in different situations. And if you recall, for example, the simple approach of the after action review, if, for example, you're running a, like in my case, in my experience, a flood response in your own country, in your own neighborhood, even if on a daily basis, you have these reflections, you do a daily AAR, quick and dirty, just for 20 minutes after you finish a shift, but then make sure that whatever you capture, you document, you take into improvements in the operation, etc. So these are just a few tools that are really important, but they're also still quite light and easy to employ. And you don't necessarily need to be a specialist or trained in evaluations to really reap the benefits of those.